When you think about the kind of life you want to live, the kind of future you dream of, it never comes in one big moment of change. It comes from what you choose to do every single day. People often look for a dramatic shift, a sudden breakthrough, or a one-time event that changes everything. But the truth is, transformation happens in the small, ordinary, daily actions that you repeat until they become part of who you are. Repetition is not just routine. It is the architect of destiny. What you repeat builds your character, your habits, your mindset, and eventually your entire life. Think about it for a moment. If you brush your teeth one time, will it give you healthy teeth? No. If you go to the gym once, will it make you strong and fit? Of course not. But if you do it every day or even every other day, consistently over weeks, months, and years, your body changes, your health changes, your confidence changes. The same principle applies to every area of your life: spiritual growth, relationships, finances, even your emotional health. What you repeat becomes what you reap. That is why I want you to hear me when I say this. The habits you form today are shaping the life you will live tomorrow. If you repeat bitterness, negativity, and excuses, then your life will produce more of that. But if you repeat gratitude, prayer, learning, and action, your life will be filled with growth, strength, and blessing. Every day, you are sowing seeds through repetition, whether you realize it or not. And every seed will bring forth a harvest in time. Many people give up too early because they think what they are doing is too small to matter. They read a book for 10 minutes and say, "That won't change my life." They pray for a week and say, "Nothing happened." They eat healthy for 3 days and say, "I don't see results." But hear me carefully. What you repeat, even in the smallest measure, is transforming you from the inside out. The danger is not in doing too little. The danger is in quitting too soon. Repetition is powerful because it doesn't just build habits. It reprograms your mind. Your thoughts create pathways in your brain. When you repeat a thought or an action, those pathways grow stronger. Soon, what was once difficult becomes natural, and what was once foreign becomes familiar. That is how champions are built. That is how faith is strengthened. That is how a new life is created, through repetition until it becomes second nature. But you must also guard what you repeat. Some of you are repeating the wrong things without even knowing it. Every morning you repeat the same complaint. Every evening you repeat the same fear. You rehearse your pain, your failures, your disappointments, and without realizing it, you are reinforcing them in your life. Instead of repeating your problems, start repeating your promises. Instead of rehearsing your failures, start rehearsing your future. Choose what you repeat, because it is either building you up or tearing you down. I am telling you this because if you want to change your life, you cannot rely on one moment of inspiration or one emotional high. You must commit to a lifestyle of repetition. Read truth every day. Speak life over yourself every day. Take small steps toward your goals every day. Pray every day. Encourage someone every day. When you do this, something begins to shift inside of you. It might be invisible at first, but in time it will become undeniable. So don't despise the small beginnings. Don't underestimate the power of repetition. Because what you choose to do consistently will shape your destiny. And if you commit to the right repetitions day by day, you will wake up one morning and realize you have become the person you were always meant to be. That is the power of daily repetition. Your mindset is the lens through which you see the world, and whether you realize it or not, that lens determines the quality of your life. Two people can go through the exact same situation. One sees only defeat, the other sees opportunity. One walks away bitter, the other grows stronger. The difference is not in the circumstance, it is in the mindset. The way you think shapes the way you live. If your thoughts are filled with fear, doubt, and negativity, your life will mirror that. But if your thoughts are filled with faith, courage, and expectation, you will walk into a life of possibility. When I tell you that your mindset shapes your reality, I mean it literally. Science confirms it, but more importantly, Scripture confirms it. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Your thoughts don't just float around, they direct your actions, and your actions create your results. Every achievement in your life begins with a thought. Every failure you accept begins with a thought. What you allow to live in your mind will eventually show up in your life. This is why you must be intentional about how you think. Too many people allow negative thoughts to take root and grow unchecked. They say things like, "I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. Things will never change for me." And because they think it, they live it. The battle is won or lost in the mind long before it shows up in reality. You cannot live a victorious life with a defeated mindset. You cannot rise above if your thoughts are always pulling you below. But here's the good news. You are not a prisoner to your thoughts. You have the power to choose what you focus on. You can renew your mind, reshape your perspective, and reframe the way you see your life. When you begin to think differently, you begin to live differently. A changed mindset produces a changed life. Let me put it this way, if you plant corn seeds, you cannot expect to harvest apples. In the same way, if you sow negative, fearful thoughts, you cannot expect a joyful, abundant life. But if you sow thoughts of faith, gratitude, and vision, your harvest will match your planting. Your mind is the soil, your thoughts are the seeds, and your life is the harvest. Choose carefully what you are planting every day. I want you to realize that challenges will come to everyone. Life will test you, storms will rise, setbacks will happen. But your mindset determines how you respond to those moments. When the storm comes, the fearful mind says, "It's over, I'm finished." The faithful mind says, "This storm will pass. This challenge will grow me. This setback is a setup for something greater." The storm is the same, but the response is different, and the result is different, because the mindset is different. Think about the greatest people who have ever achieved something extraordinary. They were not always the smartest, the richest, or the most talented, but they thought differently. Where others saw limits, they saw possibilities. Where others saw dead ends, they saw new beginnings. Their mindset gave them the courage to step forward, the strength to keep going, and the vision to see beyond what was in front of them. That same kind of mindset is available to you today. So ask yourself, what kind of thoughts are you entertaining every day? Are you rehearsing your fears, or are you rehearsing your future? Are you focusing on problems, or are you focusing on possibilities? Your life will always move in the direction of your most dominant thoughts. If you want to change your life, you must first change the way you think. Don't let the world, your past, or your fears dictate your mindset. Guard it, feed it with truth, shape it with faith, and keep it aligned with the vision of the life you want to live. Because once your mindset changes, everything changes. That is the power of mindset shaping your reality. We often think that great change requires great action, that if we want to turn our lives around, we need to make some massive leap, some dramatic move that shakes the heavens. But the truth is far simpler and at the same time far more challenging. Life is not transformed by one or two giant steps. It is transformed by the small, consistent actions you take every single day. The small things are the big things because over time, they compound into something far greater than you could imagine. Consider this: a river does not carve a canyon overnight. It does it through years of steady, persistent flow, drop after drop, day after day. That constant movement shapes the land, changes the landscape, and creates something magnificent. Your life works the same way. The choices you make today may seem small, almost insignificant, but repeated daily, they have the power to carve out the future you dream of. The problem is, many people underestimate the small things. They think if it's not big, it's not powerful. If it doesn't produce immediate results, it must not matter. So they quit. They abandon the little actions that actually hold the secret to transformation. But hear me, greatness is hidden in the daily, ordinary acts that no one celebrates. Waking up early to pray when no one is watching. Choosing to forgive when no one applauds. Reading a chapter of a book instead of scrolling endlessly. Saving a little money each week instead of spending it carelessly. These things may not look like much in the moment, but they are building a foundation for something that will last. Small daily actions also shape who you are becoming. It's not just about what you achieve, it's about the person you are molded into. Every time you discipline yourself to do the right thing, even in small measure, you are strengthening your character. Every time you take one more step, you are proving to yourself that you can endure, you can grow, you can keep moving forward. And that inner growth is what produces outer success. Think about the alternative. If you neglect the small things, the results also compound, but in the wrong direction. Skip one day, then another, and soon it becomes a habit of neglect. Ignore the little disciplines, and over time, they pile up into big regrets. Life is not neutral. It is always moving in the direction of your habits. The question is, are your habits moving you closer to your vision or further away? The beauty of small actions is that they are always within your reach. You may not be able to change your entire situation in one day, but you can take one step today. You can choose one new discipline today. You can make one better decision today. And if you repeat it tomorrow and the next day and the next, before you know it, you will look back and realize how far you have come. This is where so many people miss it. They want immediate transformation. They want the harvest without planting the seed. They want the strength without the training. They want the victory without the daily battles. But life doesn't work that way. The great shifts are born out of the small, consistent steps that no one sees. It is faithfulness in the little things that prepares you for the big things. So don't despise the small actions. Don't tell yourself they don't matter. That one prayer matters. That one act of kindness matters. That one page read matters. That one step forward matters. Do it every day and watch how it compounds into a life you never thought possible. Because in the end, it's not the giant leaps that change your life. It's the small, daily actions that create the massive results. What you feed your mind will eventually show up in your life. Every single day, you are being shaped by the information, the voices, the images, and the messages that you allow into your heart and into your thoughts. Some people wonder why they feel so heavy, so discouraged, so unmotivated. Yet when you look at what they are consuming, it makes perfect sense. If all day long you are listening to negativity, if all day long you are watching things that drag you down, if all day long you are surrounding yourself with voices that speak fear, doubt, and limitation, how can you expect to live with vision, faith, and joy? You cannot plant weeds and expect a harvest of flowers. Your mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you allow to be planted in it will grow. If you feed it poison, poison will grow. If you feed it life, life will grow. It is not just a matter of avoiding bad things. It is about choosing the right things. Every time you read something inspiring, every time you listen to words of encouragement, every time you expose yourself to teaching that builds you up, you are planting seeds of faith in your mind. Those seeds take root, and in time, they bear fruit. The challenge is that many of us are careless about what we feed our minds. We guard our money, we guard our possessions, we guard our schedules, but we leave our minds unprotected. We let anything in. without realizing that what we consume is shaping what we believe, and what we believe is shaping what we become. If you want to change your life, you must become intentional about what you are watching, what you are listening to, and what you are speaking to yourself every single day. This is why repetition and mindset go hand in hand with what you feed your mind. If every morning you turn on the news and hear nothing but fear, if every evening you watch content that fills you with emptiness, you are programming yourself for defeat. But if instead you begin your day with words of faith, with thoughts of gratitude, with messages that speak possibility, you are programming yourself for victory. The difference is not in your talent, not in your background, but in what you are allowing to shape your inner world. And let me tell you, the people you surround yourself with are also part of what you are feeding your mind. If you are always around complainers, you will soon find yourself complaining. If you are surrounded by dreamers, you will begin to dream bigger. If you walk with the wise, you become wise. If you walk with the foolish, you will stumble with them. The voices around you are either lifting you or limiting you. So choose carefully who and what you allow into your life. It's not always easy, because negative voices are loud and constant. But you must remember, you are not powerless. You can decide. You can choose what you consume, what you focus on, what you meditate on. And that choice will change your life. The greatest victories in life often begin with the smallest decision to feed your mind with the right things, consistently, day after day. Don't underestimate the power of filling your mind with truth, with vision, with encouragement, with wisdom. It may not feel like much in the moment, but just like healthy food strengthens the body over time, healthy input strengthens the mind and spirit over time. Slowly your perspective shifts. Slowly your faith rises. Slowly your confidence grows. And eventually the life you live reflects the life you've been feeding into your mind all along. So guard your mind, choose your inputs carefully, and fill yourself daily with the words, the images, and the voices that bring life. Because what you feed your mind today will shape the reality you live tomorrow. Motivation is wonderful, but it's not enough to carry you through the journey of transformation. Motivation is like a spark. It lights you up for a moment. It excites you, it gives you energy, but sparks fade. Motivation comes and goes depending on your feelings, your environment, or your circumstances. You may wake up one morning with fire in your soul, ready to conquer the world, and then the next day you don't even feel like getting out of bed. That's why you cannot build your life on motivation alone. What truly carries you forward is discipline. Discipline is the steady flame that keeps burning when the spark of motivation dies out. Discipline is what turns your goals into reality, your dreams into results, and your intentions into accomplishments. When you think about discipline, don't imagine it as punishment or something restrictive. Discipline is not about taking joy out of life. It's about giving you the freedom to live the life you truly want. If you want to be healthy, discipline is what gives you the freedom to enjoy that health. If you want to be financially secure, discipline is what gives you the freedom to live without constant stress. If you want to grow spiritually, discipline is what keeps you rooted when distractions come. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, the gap remains untraveled. The problem is that many people wait until they feel like it before they take action. But if you only act when you feel like it, you will never build momentum. Discipline says, I will do it whether I feel like it or not. Discipline shows up when motivation is absent. Discipline doesn't care about your emotions. It cares about your commitment. And over time, that commitment reshapes your entire life. Think of an athlete. They don't become great because they are motivated once in a while. They become great because they train daily, even when they're tired, even when it hurts, even when they would rather be doing something else. Their greatness is not in their talent alone, it's in their discipline. The same is true for musicians, entrepreneurs, leaders, and people of faith. Discipline is the common denominator of every successful life. But here's the beauty of discipline. Once you practice it consistently, it creates habits, and habits make life easier. At first, discipline feels heavy. You resist it. You have to push yourself. But after a while, what was once difficult becomes automatic. Reading daily becomes natural. Praying daily becomes natural. Saving money becomes natural. Exercising becomes natural. And when these disciplines turn into habits, you no longer have to fight yourself every day. You simply live the life those habits create. Discipline also protects you from regret. One of the greatest pains in life is not the pain of discipline, but the pain of knowing you could have done more. You could have tried harder. You could have stayed consistent, but you didn't. Discipline may feel uncomfortable in the moment, but regret will haunt you for a lifetime. Which pain will you choose? The temporary pain of discipline or the lifelong pain of regret? Let's be honest, discipline requires sacrifice. It means saying no to what is easy so you can say yes to what is greater. It means denying yourself temporary comfort in exchange for lasting reward. But every sacrifice made in discipline comes back multiplied in blessing. You may feel like you're giving something up, but in reality, you are gaining something far more valuable: character, strength, freedom, and fulfillment. So if you want your life to change, stop waiting on motivation and start building discipline. Make the decision today to be consistent, even when you don't feel like it. Push yourself a little further, hold yourself a little stronger, and commit yourself a little deeper. Because discipline is not your enemy, it is your greatest ally. That is the power of self-discipline. If you want to change your life, you must first be able to see the life you desire. You cannot live beyond the picture you hold in your heart. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every transformation begins first in the imagination. Before a building goes up, the architect draws the blueprint. Before an invention comes into being, the inventor envisions it in their mind. Before you step into the life you dream of, you must see it with your inner eyes. This is the power of daily visualization. It trains your mind and spirit to focus on what you are moving toward rather than what you are stuck in. Most people live by memory, constantly replaying their past failures, disappointments, and mistakes. But if you are always looking backward, you cannot move forward. You must choose to live by vision, not by memory. Vision pulls you into your future, while memory traps you in your past. When you visualize your future daily, you are reminding yourself of where you are going. You are giving your mind a direction, and you are fueling your spirit with hope. Visualization is not about daydreaming, it is about aligning your thoughts with the life you are committed to building. When you close your eyes and see yourself walking in peace, living with joy, achieving your goals, making an impact, you are programming your mind to act in harmony with that vision. What you focus on expands. If you focus on fear, you magnify fear. If you focus on lack, you magnify lack. But if you focus on abundance, on growth, on possibility, you magnify those things in your life. Alongside visualization comes affirmation, the power of the words you speak. Your words are not meaningless sounds, they are seeds. When you speak daily affirmations over your life, you are planting seeds that will eventually grow into your reality. If you wake up every morning and say, I am strong, I am capable, I am blessed, I am favored, I am growing, those words begin to take root. They shape your mindset, they build your confidence, and they attract opportunities that align with what you have spoken. But if you wake up every morning and say, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, nothing will ever change, those words also take root. and they become self-fulfilling prophecies. You must understand that your mind believes what you consistently tell it. If you tell yourself you are weak, your mind will find evidence of your weakness. If you tell yourself you are strong, your mind will find ways to demonstrate that strength. That is why daily affirmations are so powerful. They train your inner dialogue to align with your vision rather than your fears. At first, it may feel awkward. You may not even believe the words you are saying, but repetition spoken with faith creates belief. Just as a seed does not sprout the day it is planted, your affirmations may not produce immediate results. But if you keep speaking them day after day with conviction, they will begin to shape your reality. When you combine visualization and affirmation, you are not just wishing, you are building. You are renewing your mind daily, focusing your thoughts, speaking life, and creating momentum toward the future you desire. It is not magic, it is alignment. Your thoughts and words guide your actions, and your actions build your life. So every day, take time to see the life you want and speak it into existence. Close your eyes and visualize yourself walking in victory. Open your mouth and declare the promises over your life. Don't let the world or your circumstances dictate your vision. Let your vision dictate your world. Because what you focus on expands, and what you affirm with faith will eventually become the life you live.